my tail. I did the Iditarod trail.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Husky Talk. Our guest today grew up in a dog mushing family and has been raising huskies since she was old enough to hold one. She manages her family's kennels. She is a two-time junior Iditarod champ and recently won the Knik 200 by edging out former Iditarod champ Brent Sass by 1 minute. Please welcome to the show 16-year-old Emily Robinson.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on Husky Talk.
Oh, yeah. Can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Emily Robinson. I'm a second generation musher who's lived up here in Alaska my entire life. Lucky me, I live in the freezer. Like you guys said, I've been raising sled dogs ever since I was a little tiny kid. And in some of my baby photos, you can actually see me holding little tiny puppies. So I've grown up running and raising sled dogs, but at the age of 12, I decided I wanted to see what the competitive side of mushing was. So at 13, I ran my first race. I've grown up with puppies in my yard. They came up onto my porch and would like they're free range puppies, just like chickens. So they come up onto my porch and curl up in little balls and puppy piles. So yeah, that's some of my first memories of having sled dogs. So
Talk to us about what you got and why you got involved in dog sledding.
I grew up with sled dogs. My dad, he moved up from Michigan and ran the Iditarod in 2001. So I was born into it. But you know, I've been raised around sled dogs and I was just I really enjoyed it. And I am an animal lover and my family says I'm a dog whisperer, but I just grew up with it. And at the age of 12, I decided I wanted to race. So that's kind of how it first started. But yeah.
Who are some of your mentors in the world who inspired?
Who are some of my mentors? So I have my dad. He's definitely one of my bigger mentors. He's the one who first got me started, and he had me on a tag sled when I was a little tiny kid. And so I'd follow every single move that he made. If he had one hand on the handlebar and one he dropped down to let it rest, I'd copy that exact same movement. And so he's definitely the biggest mentor that I have, as well as I talk to Iditarod mushers and stuff. So Pete Kaiser, he's giving us a lot of advice, and also Dave Turner, he's another very prominent dog musher. He hasn't run the Iditarod, but he runs in a lot of mid-distance races and stuff. But we've got information from a lot of different mushers, and that's what's so great about this community is that it's so small and that, you know, everybody talks with each other and, you know, gives tidbits of advice and that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Being only 16 years old, talk to us about how you balance your passion for dog sledding with other aspects of your life, such as school and social activities.
Ooh, very good question. So dog mushing is like the main focus. That's what I focus on the most. And then definitely schoolwork. So schoolwork and dogs are like pretty parallel. And then like I'm homeschooled, so I live at home. I do dog chores. I am able to balance it in that way. But kids, my competitors that do public school, I definitely appreciate what they're doing, because it's definitely a lot to have a dog team and also be going full time in school. But yeah, like as a junior musher and any other junior musher that you talk to, it's about having that family structure. And you know, we wouldn't be able to do this without our families, because the sport is very, very expensive and it's also a lot of work. So then like I have time to, like, you know, do regular teenage things like Netflix and that sort of thing, and also hang out with my friends. But yeah, that's pretty much like dogs and schoolwork are parallel, and then everything else kind of comes behind that. But yeah.
How has your family supported your journey in dog sledding?
Very good question. So obviously, my dad, he's the one who started this. And then my mom and dad are very, very, very supportive. They've done so much. My mom, she trains with me, when we're four-wheeler training in the fall time. She's riding on every single run that we're doing, and we run two teams. So I take one team out, I go like on a 3 mile loop or a 6 mile loop, and then we come back, we unhook those dogs and hook up the next group and then go out again. And so it's a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work, as well as my little brother Stanley. He helps a lot, and he is going to be racing too this year. He's going to be running a 100-mile race, the Willow Junior 100. Me and him are going to be competing with each other. But yeah, like my family definitely is a very, very big part of it, and they very much support me. And then like also family members out of the state, my grandparents and stuff, they're always cheering me on. And I actually have an uncle who lives in the state, Uncle Tony, and he helps a lot. He comes down to the races, and he's my math guy. So yeah, that's how my family helps me.
Can you describe the bond you have with your dogs and the importance of this bond?
Very, very good question. So it's having a bond with your dog team is vital, and I spend every single day with the dogs. I'm constantly working with them and that sort of thing. And so like we start from the age of puppies where, I'm taking them on walks. I'm going into their house when they're just little tiny babies, like the size of chipmunks. And, I'm letting them smell me, and I'm hanging out with them. I'll watch YouTube videos while I'm doing that sometimes, or like listen to music. And then like once they get older, I'll take them on puppy walks and, just let them be adventurous. And then, in those early stages of running as a sled dog, I'm helping them just learn how to, what would the word be, to graduate into being an actual sled dog. But so like having a bond with your dog team and keeping your dog team happy is something that's really, really important. Like that's something that we really focused on this year with our sled dogs is just for me, like if I'm in a bad mood, or like if I'm like not angry necessarily, but like just kind of have that bad mood energy, those dogs can sense that. And then that kind of like changes the entire trajectory of your entire, like the rest of your day with your dogs, and like how they perform on the trail and stuff. So that's really important to us now, is focusing on just having a positive energy and working with those dogs, and just having that bond. And that's something that's very crucial for me running the junior races and stuff, is I really do have that bond with my dog team. Whereas other kids, sometimes they're borrowing other dogs from different mushers and that sort of thing, and they definitely do have a bond too, for sure. But like I'm working with my dogs every single day, and I'm the primary dog driver in my family, so I'm the one that's primarily working with them. So
Let's talk about some of the races you have done. Can you share with us some of your favorite races you have participated in?
yeah. So I've competed in the Willow Junior 100. That was the first race that I've ever ran. And I ended up sixth my first year, second my second year, and then first the third year. So third time's the charm. But I've that race is really like nostalgic to me, and I'm going to be coming back to that for the next 2 years. 17 I'll age out of that one, but like it's just a really like chill, relaxed race, and it's focused very much on the kids, and it's just a great race. And then you have Junior Iditarod, which I did at 14, and now I'm going into it at 16. That one's really fun, but it's a lot more like Junior Iditarod. It isn't a slouch of a race. It's definitely focused on teaching us kids how to be good dog mushers, and they don't take it easy on you. Like you focus on your dog team, and you're the one who's taking care of it. You don't get a whole lot of help out there. It's pretty much you on your own, and that's something that I really appreciate. Like it's nice to go to that race where it's a little bit tougher. And then I have the Willow 150, which I did. That was a tougher race. That was for adults. My dad and I competed in that race. That was really cool. The Ace race, that one is definitely very, very fun. So you run on the Denali Highway, and so you start at the parking lot of the Denali Highway, and so then you run out to Alpine Creek Lodge, and so it's a 64-mile run. And so you're running it pretty much as fast as you can, and there's not any race rules, so you can start from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That's when you can leave the start chute. So, mushers can pick where they want to leave. And then you run out there, and whoever has the fastest time is the winner. But so then at the Alpine Creek Lodge, you're hanging out with all those big mushers and that sort of thing, and that is really really cool. You're just sitting down at this giant table with all these mushers, and then afterwards, we do the awards ceremony, and it's just like a big old fun time, and hanging out with all those mushers is really really cool. So that one isn't continuing any longer, which I hope they change their mind. But then there's also the what other races? The Yukon Quest 80, which I'm going to be running in a week and a half. That one's cool. It's a shorter race, so it's more of a sprint race after I've just gotten done with a 200-mile race, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, like all of the races that I've competed in, they've all been really, really fun, and I really enjoy it, and I like the intensity and just going out there and competing. So yeah, like all of those races are really, really fun, and especially the junior races. I really enjoy going to those junior races, and there's only 2 of them in the state of Alaska, so.
Since you are a 2-time junior Iditarod champion, can you share what that means to you?
Being a 2-time junior Iditarod champion is very, very cool. And I really enjoy like advocating for that race and talking about it and all that sort of thing. So for me, being a junior Iditarod champion, I find it very honorable and I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud to be a junior Iditarod champion. And like I said before, it's not an easy race. So to be able to go out there with my dog team and compete with my peers and, just see how we end up there, that's really, really cool. And I just enjoy being out on the trail out there. Like it's a very, very cool experience. And last year, like it was very sunny on the second day, and you could see the mountains once you were coming back into the finish line. And so I'm just really, really honored to be a junior Iditarod champion.
Since you will be heading back again this year for the Junior Iditarod, what are some goals that you have?
What are some goals? Well, the goal is to have a very happy, excited dog team. I wanna go into it with a very tough, strong dog team. That's like with all the races that I've done this year, that's used to adversity and is willing to step up to the challenge. I want to leave the checkpoint on time. Last year, I ended up 3 minutes late. So I want to focus on, like, it's really hard when you're tired, and then I'm not very good at keeping track of time. So like towards the end, I was like scrambling to get out of there. So definitely that. I definitely want to be on time. But yeah, just I'm not expecting to win this one. There's a lot of good competition in there, even though it's junior mushers. I'm still like not counting on a win. So I just am excited to go out there and just try to do our best, and just go from there and see where we end up. Like that's all I can do, and that's the mindset that I'm continuing to have with all my races, is just trying to do my best. And that's the mindset that I went in with the Knik 200. So.
You recently ran the Knik 200 with some big names from the Iditarod, such as former champs Brent Sass and Ryan Reddington. You outmushed Sass at the end and won the entire race by 1 minute. Tell us about this experience and how you felt.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so the first day I started in the 33rd position, and so I started there, and this is the first time that I've ever started so far back in the pack. Like usually when I draw my bib number, which is like, it's like this canteen that has like the different tags of the different positions. And so it starts from who's signed up first to last. And so I was more farther back. And so what you do is you swirl it around, and then you pick out the tag, and that's what you start as. And so yeah, like I started more back at the pack, and I passed a lot of teams within the first day. And so I was very like going into this race again. I just wanted to have like a focused mindset of just, keeping my dog team strong and just, trying to have the best race that I could. And so, I ended up passing a lot of teams within the first day, and the trail was not easy by any means. It was a pretty tough trail, but, I was just trying to block that out of my mind. Like, I was a little like grumbling under my breath, like, oh, this, the soft trail. But like, other than that, like, that's every race. Every race is going to have those adversities and those difficulties, even on the trail. And it's just going to happen, whether it's weather or something else. Like it's going to happen. And so, then once I got to the halfway point, I found out that I was in second place, and I was like, like, was not expecting that. And so Ryan Reddington was 2 minutes behind me, and Brent Sass was 7 minutes in front of me. And so I did my 6-hour layover where I was taking care of my dogs. I was getting them bedded down. I fed them, I bedded them down, got them sleeping, and then I went into my truck and slept in the back of the truck for a couple hours, which wasn't very restful sleep, but you get what you get. And then started out at 2 a.m, and 10 miles out from the halfway point, I caught up to Brent Sass, and a little bit after that, I passed him. And so I was in front of him for a while. Then I had to there's what's called a dog drop. And so at those dog drops, you can leave a dog behind if he's not quite ready to like continue on the race course. And so I had one of those dogs where he was just getting pretty tired. And so I loaded him up into my sled and carried him in my sled bag for 5 miles. And so during that time, Brent Sass had passed me. And so once I got to the dog drop, I gave him to my dad, passed him on to my dad, and my dad took him from there. And so I started with a 12-dog team, and then by the finish line, I ended up with 10 dogs. And so most of my other competitors had 14. The amount of dogs you could take was 14 dogs. I decided to do 12 dogs, and then by the finish line, I ended up with 10 dogs because I left one dog at the halfway point, one at the dog drop. And so Brent had got a 2-mile lead on me. And so we dropped down onto the river, and I was just focusing on keeping in front of Brian, like just keeping that gap that I had in between them. I had like a 2-mile gap. And so then I think I gained a 3-mile gap after a while. And so then I focused my attention back onto Brent and catching Brent. And so, once I got closer to the finish line, like 10 miles out, that's when I started encouraging my dogs to go faster. I was like, all right, come on, we're gonna go a little bit faster, guys. And so they started picking up the pace, and like I caught Brent a mile from the finish line. And so there's this thing called no man's land. And so in no man's land, the musher that's in front of you, if you call trail, which is like the command or the request to the musher to let you by, they don't have to yield. They don't have to allow you by. So this was like, I caught up to him like a couple hundred feet from no man's land. And so he just let me over. He let me pass him. He knew I had the faster dog team. And there's actually this video online on Facebook and stuff that has me catching up to Brent Sass. And that is a really cool video. It really shows what dog mushing is like, and like the excitement that comes from dog mushing in those sort of situations. And so I still had the second place mentality when I came across the finish line. Like I was completely content to be second place behind the mighty Brent Sass. And so to pass him and to come across that finish line in first place, like my brain was just like not comprehending that. And so it was very, very cool and very, very exciting. And yeah, something that I could have never dreamed of, like to win my first 100-mile race. That was really, really cool. So
What advice do you have for young people who may be interested in pursuing dog mushing or similar activities?
Ooh, that's a toughie. I'd say just follow your dreams. Don't let obstacles get in your way. With anything, there's going to be difficult situations, and you kind of just have to push through that and keep moving forward. That's something that I'm constantly learning is you kind of just have to keep a positive attitude and just keep moving forward. And I did in the Knik 200 have one of those moments where mentally I was in a rough position. I was like thinking of all these negative scenarios and all these negative things. And then I basically I called my parents and they talked me out of it. But like in one of my races, and in multiple of my races that I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be able to call my parents. So I have to learn to like just drink some water because I was dehydrated, and just like change that mentality and start thinking positively again and just think of moving forward. That's something that I've learned from my dogs too, is that it's always forward orientation. It's never turning around in the trail and moving backwards. It's always moving forwards. And so that's basically life. Like you really have no choice. Like you have to move forward. And so that's kind of the same thing that I'm starting to understand, is that you just have to keep moving forward and like go through those humps in the trail and those adversities and just keep on going. So that's definitely a piece of advice I'd give, is just keep moving forward and, maybe not necessarily looking back, like just keep on moving.
Finally, we have the Iditarod Fast 5. We have 5 different Iditarod topics we'd like you to try and answer as fast as you can.
Favorite musher?
Ooh, Pete Kaiser.
Favorite Iditarod book?
Libby Riddle's book, Danger the Dog Yard Cat.
Favorite checkpoint?
Ruby.
Favorite volunteer?
Emily Dinges.
Favorite former champion?
Ooh. Ah! Favorite former champion. Pete Kaiser.
That's all we have. Thank you for being on our show, Emily. Good luck in the junior.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Special thanks to our guest, Emily Robinson, for being on our show this week. If you enjoyed this episode, please stop by iTunes and leave us a review. It helps with our ratings. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or people you'd like to hear on the show, email us at huskytalk1@gmail.com. If we hear from you or you leave a review, we will read it on the show.
We would like to also give credit to Hobo Jim for our intro song, the Iditarod Trail Song, and our outro song, Reddington's Run.
In the land of the midnight sun, they call this race the Iditarod Trail. To me, it's Reddington's Run. In my heart, it's Reddington's Run.